Caitlin Clark has been must-see TV during the WNBA preseason, but those games are now done. The rosters are complete, and we are getting ready for the regular WNBA season. Tipping off Tuesday night, Caitlin Clark and the Fever, their first game, it's going to be on the road in Connecticut to take on the Sun. Meanwhile, A'ja Wilson and the Aces looking to run it back this season as the defending champs. Yes, it brought so many of us to tears. No more Candace Parker, but our experts will tell you they are still the best team in this league by far without Parker. And because of that, the WNBA power rankings are in for CBS Sports. Taking a look at the list here. The Aces coming in at number 1, followed by the New York Liberty at number 2. Questions, though, surrounding the Liberty. We'll get to that in just a second. And then you have some weather. You got the Storm and the Sun coming in at 3 and 4, and the Phoenix Mercury rounding out the top 5. As for Caitlin Clark and the Fever, a little bit lower on the list, as you see. Let's welcome in Terrika Foster-Brasby. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark and the Fever coming in at number 9 on our list. By the way, you can find that entire list at CBSSports.com. You personally think they should be a little bit higher. Why is that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I probably would have given them the number 8 seed in the power rankings. And that's just because I think that this is a year that they finally make that elevation to the next level and get into the postseason. They've been very close over the last couple of years. Last year, I really felt they were just a piece or two away. And Caitlin Clark can absolutely be that piece. I don't think folks really understand how difficult it is for rookies to come in and elevate and change the trajectory of a team. This may be the one exception because of how potent Caitlin Clark is. We saw in her initial game in the preseason, she came in with 21 points, right? In that exhibition opener, and she looked really comfortable back there in her first pro appearance. And so I think that just watching the chemistry that's going to develop between her, last year's number 1 pick in Aaliyah Boston, the number 2 overall pick in 2022, Alyssa Smith, I think it's just something that's going to be very fun to watch and can really elevate them to postseason play.
So postseason play, you're calling that right now. It could be a very good potential for the Fever, you think?
Yes, that is what I'm saying. I think they are a playoff team this year, so I would have ranked them at number 8.
Do you think Caitlin Clark, and I'm curious, in looking at her demeanor throughout her college career, throughout the preseason, no nerves for this woman. I don't think I've ever seen her rattled going in with so many eyes on you, being a rookie, stepping up to this league point. But do you see her being nervous at all entering the season?
Well, I think that's what made Caitlin Clark, right? She's handled the pressure so well over not only just these last couple of weeks entering into the WNBA, but just over the last couple of years, the spotlight that has been placed on her at the collegiate level. She's handled it well. She's handled it gracefully, very professionally. And I think that will absolutely carry over into how she handles the pressure on opening night. Again, I've said it before and I will continue to say it. Playing in the WNBA is an adjustment. Does that mean she will struggle? Absolutely not. Does that mean she still won't be able to shoot the ball ridiculously well? Absolutely not. But there are other adjustments that rookie makes when they come into the league. Things like the pace of the game, things like handling the defensive assignments and defensive pressure, things like understanding where to move, how to cut. I think one of the most underrated abilities that Caitlin Clark has that she didn't get enough praise in during her collegiate years is her ability to pass the ball and be a facilitator. That is going to be so important for this Fever team, especially given that the other guard, Kelsey Mitchell, she's been so much of a combo guard most of the time that it works better for her if someone else can actually play the facilitator. So I think that is an underrated skill that Caitlin Clark has that she is going to just knock out of the park at the professional level. But again, to your point, Amanda, the way that she's able to handle the poise, the grace that she brings with all of the pressure that comes around her, it really is commendable.
And again, game 1 again for the Fever tomorrow in Connecticut, I believe tip-off for that one at 8 Eastern. Let's go to the Aces. No more Candace Parker. Still coming in at number 1, though. Is this an easy slam dunk for this team to be ranked here?
Absolutely. They're the best team in the league until somebody else proves otherwise. And over the last 2 seasons, they have proved why they are the number 1 team in the league. They are coming off back-to-back championships, something that hasn't been done since the LA Sparks did it. And even though there is no Candace Parker, this team is still a team that is loaded. Now, we expect to see Megan Gustafson step up to the plate this year. She's someone who I believe can really exercise her length and her size at that position. And listen, there is no way you're going to tell me that an Asia Wilson and Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum led team is not a team that is going to come hard as it gets for that number one spot. So absolutely, they deserve to be ranked here. They should continue to be ranked here. And I don't see a team, and you never know, but I don't see a team at this point that is really going to present a roster to me that is going to say this team is better than the Aces right now at this moment.
When you looked at the odds there, the Liberty had the second best odds to go ahead and win the title this upcoming season. They come in at number 2 on our power rankings. However, not a great preseason for them. As you mentioned, they were demolished by Chicago. Win up against Connecticut, that was just an okay game. Do we put any stock into this? Do you have worries about this Liberty team, or do we just chalk it up? This is preseason, doesn't really mean much.
Listen, preseason is preseason. It doesn't matter what the sport is. Preseason is just that. It's meant to help you start to fine tune those little things, get the pains out, get the off-season jitters out, things that, the rust that you've had over the last couple of months. Preseason is meant just for that. There is no reason to doubt that this Liberty team will not eventually be one of the top 3 teams standing at the end of the year. But no, they didn't have the best showing from their preseason matchup against Chicago. And I think that game was more about Chicago than it really was about the Liberty. Again, Chicago was a team that quite honestly was coming into this season with nothing. They had no expectations. They have a brand new coach. They have 2 of the biggest stars in college basketball now being a part of their roster, part of their team. Like, they are the ones that are going to build, they're going to gel. And it was really about watching how they performed and less about what the New York Liberty was going to bring to the table, considering we know that the reigning MVP Breanna Stewart is going to show up. We know that Jonquel Jones is going to continue to show up and exert her dominance. So I would not be concerned whatsoever about their preseason performance.
Coming into 3 or 4, and I love that these are back-to-back. You have the Storm and the Sun. Breanna Jones getting back for the Sun after tearing her Achilles there. So it'll take her a little while to get back into the mix, but so far so good. The Storm, everybody expecting this team to be very good yet again. Which one of these teams are you a little bit higher on?
Well, absolutely Connecticut. And, when we talk about the top teams in the league, I think sometimes we put the Aces and we put the Liberty like right up here, and then we put Connecticut right underneath. And quite personally, I would put all 3 of those teams on the same level of play. The way that this Connecticut team continues to not let adversity get in their way is quite amazing. Over the last 4 years, they have been missing someone, a part of their core group, due to an injury, and have still found themselves either in the finals or the semifinals. So they are a formidable team. Now, they look just a tad bit different this year. Rebecca Allen didn't return this year. Instead, we have Mariah Jefferson that's going to be swapped out. That was swapped out for a sign and trade. They also added Rachel Banham, who was originally a part of this Connecticut Sun team when she was drafted. So she's back from Minnesota. But they have their core in ATDB and Bree Jones. And I think what makes this team so interesting is that they are one of the deepest, if not the deepest team in terms of experience and talent. Coming off of this bench, they have some players that really have the experience and not only playing on multiple levels, but even championship experience. They've added a Stu Due to this roster as well. She gives them hype, but she also gives them a championship caliber, as she was part of the 2021 Chicago team that won the championship. So I would be on the lookout for this Connecticut Sun team to continue to be one of the top teams in the league by the end of the year. But don't sleep on Seattle. You have added a weapon and a force in Skylar Diggins-Smith and Nneka Ogwumike to this Seattle team, Amanda. They are going to be dangerous. When you add that with Jewell Loyd, they have added some depth to their roster as well. And when I say the way that Ezzy is going to show up defensively, I cannot imagine this team not being right in the thick of things when it comes down to it.
It is going to be such a fun season in the WNBA. And also, as mentioned, many of you remember we have Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso, both on the Sky. We saw them blow out the Liberty. So who knows what's going to happen with that Chicago team. Terrika, we appreciate it. Again, opening night for the WNBA. It is getting underway Tuesday night. Taking a look at some of the games you got coming up. The Liberty right there, 11.5-point favorite against the Mystics. And then Caitlin Clark and the Fever are are going up against the Sun. Sun, a 5.5-point favorite at home. Tip-off for that game, I was wrong. It is not 8 Eastern. It is 7:30 Eastern. And if you would like to watch 20 of the games throughout the 2024 season, you can check them out on CBS Sports.